friends, welcome to another episode of Pantry to Plate. I'm Kristen, the food bank dietitian, and we're coming to you from the Kaiser Permanente Learning Kitchen. Welcome. We have a special guest here today. We have greetings. I'm so glad to have you here.
Glad to be here. And this is an amazing kitchen. Better than mine at home.
Thank you. It's definitely better than mine at home.
Maybe sleeping in the back room tonight. This is a lovely kitchen.
Plenty of space back there. This is Chef Kevin McGee, and he is from the Urban Oak Initiative.
Yes,
and he's going to be teaching us how to cook with some plant-based proteins
options
today.
Definitely.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. So my name is Chef Kevin McGee. They call me Chef Kev in the community. I am with Urban Oak Initiative, and we work to educate youth and their families on how to cook more tasty plant-based meals. And we do place-based work over in Southwest Atlanta, a neighborhood known as Neighborhood Planning Unit V.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
The V is for vegan.
How did that not come up prior to this? I love it. We could all use a little bit more plants in our diets, whether we choose to not eat meat at all, or if we're just trying to incorporate more nutrition, right?
Absolutely. But they have to be tasty. Right?
They got to be tasty.
You can't just do salad and carrots and cucumbers.
Exactly. And you are here at the exact perfect time, because we are going to be expecting some plant-based proteins in our warehouse pretty soon. So for our partners who are watching, our partner pantries, keep your eye on eHarvest, because we are going to have very soon TEFAP walnuts, brown lentils, and garbanzo beans. So I will clarify that garbanzos are the same as chickpeas. It just depends on where you're from and what you call it. So today Chef Kev is going to be showing us how to use these 3 plant proteins to make taco
amazing, tasty taco filling.
It's Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, Taco Tuesday, and tacos are such a great, particularly in terms of plant-based, it's a great way to introduce people to plant-based. Everyone loves a taco. They're easy to make. You can stuff anything inside of that little shell and put some toppings on it, and it's great. So I'm so excited today. We're going to be doing these tacos, these walnut, lentil, and chickpea tacos.
Yes. And it's a universal framework. So it's going to be the same recipe for each of these proteins, and you can switch it out or combine them however you like to do it.
They're super easy to do.
So I'm going to pass it on to you. I'm your sous chef.
Okay.
You tell me what you need as we go through. I'm excited.
I am too. So the first thing we're going to do is work on our spice mix. And so instead of buying the pre-made taco seasoning, which usually has a lot of sodium and a lot of other stuff in there, we're going to make our own taco seasoning. Taco seasoning is amazingly easy to make, and it has really just 4 or 5 key components. So we have some chili powder, which is always a necessity. We have garlic powder. We have onion powder, and it can be granulated garlic or it can be the powder. It doesn't really matter. We have smoked paprika. Very important. Needs to be smoked paprika. Regular paprika doesn't have that smoky flavor, and that's what's really going to help it taste like really good meaty tacos. And last but not least, we have cumin, which is what the seasoning that really makes chili taste like chili. It makes tacos taste like tacos. Yes. It's very, very important as well. Now, the great thing about this recipe is we're just going to dump them all into one. It is so easy. We're going to use the same spice blend for all of the tacos that we're going to do today.
And you can make a bunch of this and jar it up.
You can jar it up. You can store it.
You can
hang on to it. In fact, I have a huge container of it in my home. And you can just take it out, and we're going to use it on tacos, but you can sprinkle it on vegetables. You can sprinkle it on anything, and it's going to have that nice taco-y flavor.
Yes. And if you like spice, you can add some like cayenne or something here, or on your plate if you're the only one in your household that likes the spice.
So all we're going to do now is just mix these together thoroughly. Make sure everything is going to kind of turn a little brownish color. We're pretty much done. Just make sure everything's mixed really well. And we're going to save the salt. So we're not going to put the salt into the main spice mix. So that's going to allow us to sort of control the seasoning levels for ourselves, right? So we don't want to just put all the salt in there, because what if we don't want that much salt?
Exactly.
You maybe have some things you're dealing with or working on. So we're going to save the salt for close to the end, because we have enough seasoning in there.
And that's what I teach too. If you can always add more, but you can't take it away.
You cannot take away.
When it's there, it's there.
It's there. It's salty.
Exactly.
It's salty.
All right, what's next?
So next we're going to work on these walnut tacos. And so these are a little bit different. I know you're saying walnuts and tacos, but what happens is, so we soak the walnuts overnight for 24 hours. You can do it for 6, but the longer they soak, the better. They become just slightly tender. They're not super tender, but slightly tender. We're going to puree them or post them in the blender. That's going to chop them up so that they look sort of like little pieces of ground beef or ground meat. Right now, they're a little too big. So we're just going to throw these right in the blender here. Real simple. We're going to add a little bit of water. And we're just going to pulse it. And if you don't know what that setting is on your blender, it's the one that kind of makes it go on and off. And if you don't do that, just turn it on and off.
Yeah.
Like that. We don't want to blend it though. If we blend it, it's going to be kind of just like walnut soup.
And paste.
Right, walnut soup.
We're not looking for peanut butter.
Walnut paste. Exactly. At all. So now we're going to drain the walnuts. And we're going to keep the liquid that we're working with. So it's going to drain out the walnuts. And so I don't know. And so if you can kind of see, maybe can they see? Where can they see?
You can lift it up a little bit up
so if
there.
you want to see a little bit, you can sort of see they're sort of
Perfect.
like little pieces of meat. Right? So we're going to drain these. Now over here in the skillets, we have some oil that we're going to put in. You don't need a lot of oil. Maybe a tablespoon or 2.
That oil is going to help your body absorb all of those fat-soluble vitamins. Because
Exactly.
some require fat and some don't need it. But the ones that require fat are super important.
And it's also going to make the tacos taste a little like tacos, right? Because you have to have a little grease.
A little bit.
Oil, just a little bit of grease in your food. It makes it taste so much better.
It's like the part that it grabs on all the flavor, right?
It does.
Exactly.
And this is just olive oil. You can use olive oil. You can use grapeseed oil. You can use canola oil. And we're just going to lightly saute some onions here. Turn the heat up a little bit there. Those onions are sauteing. So what we're going to do next while those are sauteing, I'm going to saute some onions for the lentils as well as the chickpea mixture. So is that cool? I'm going to go ahead and start
Absolutely.
sauteing that.
Absolutely.
We'll kind of get ahead. You know, when you're in the kitchen, you need to multitask.
Exactly. Okay, there's one.
Thank you. There's one. Let's get that one going.
I'm going to trade you. There we go.
Now, you don't have to cook all 3 at one time in your kitchen.
No, you do not. This is for show purposes only, but you can combine a couple of these proteins.
You can combine a couple of these.
All right, we got onions. How much onion are we working with
So it's
here?
just around a 1/4 cup onions. You can use a 1/2 cup. You can use as much as you want. Onions are really a great flavoring tool. They're really cheap, but they add a ton of flavor. You know, onions are super duper go-tos. And if you add, you really can't add too much because they'll just kind of melt down into the tacos, so they work really well.
And then folks forget they're a vegetable. Like, it's a flavor, but it is also a vegetable. So you're just adding one additional vegetable there.
So now we have the onions going for the walnut tacos. We're going to go ahead and pour the walnuts into the skillet. We still have the walnut here. Now, interesting fact, if you wanted to do something different, the liquid that was reserved from when we sort of pureed the almonds, guess what that's called? When you pay a lot of, that's almond milk.
Walnut milk.
Walnut milk. There you go, walnut milk.
I was going to ask you, like, what could we do with that water?
So this is what
milky.
It's milky. That's what a lot of people pay $8 for when they go to like the local grocery store. that's your nut milk. That's walnut milk right there. So now we're going to start sauteing the walnuts and the onions. What we're going to do here is we're going to try to get them a little brown. We're actually kind of toasting so that the nuts have a slightly nutty, toasty flavor.
Yeah. So they're going to go from wet to dry, right?
Exactly.
Are we done with this?
We are no, not yet. We're going to use the water.
Okay, I'm going to put it up here out of the way.
So we have a spatula here for the nuts because some people are allergic to nuts.
Yep.
So we want to keep that one on that side. We have another spatula for the other items, and we're going to use that to kind of stir those. All right. So next we're going to do the lentils. So these are some lentils. We soak them overnight. You don't have to soak them, but if you do soak them, it just shortens the cooking time. We're not going to do anything to the lentils. They already look like little kind of pieces of meat already. They're nice and small, so we're just going to throw those right into the pan.
So for this, you're looking for like brown lentils, because there are like yellow.
Definitely. Good point. You want to do brown. If you use yellow or orange, it's going to be real mushy.
Yeah, they're gonna fall apart. They're really great for soups and making things thick, but we're looking for texture here.
Exactly. Yeah. So now we're gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of seasoning to both. Around 2 tablespoons.
And this is like a measure with your heart situation,
yes, it
right?
Is. Exactly. You're gonna whatever suits you. I haven't added any salt yet, and we're gonna wait on that. So we're just gonna give both of those mixtures a stir, and we're gonna add quite a bit of seasoning. The good thing about the seasoning is, again, there's no salt in it. So we want to add quite a bit, because that's going to add a lot of color, but we'll start off with a small amount here. Just thoroughly incorporate all of that in.
And I can already smell it. That, like you said, the smoked paprika is so important.
It is super important. Super important.
And if you've never tried smoked paprika, it's red just like regular paprika, but I like to compare it to like the flavor of barbecue potato chips. Like if you've never had it, that's exactly what it tastes like.
It does,
yeah.
But it's a game changer in many recipes. So get you some smoked paprika. Definitely a game changer.
Use it in anything.
So real quickly, while these are just kind of cooking and doing their thing, we're gonna go ahead and do the chickpeas. So we've already mixed and blended the chickpeas. We used the same process that we did with the walnuts. We took half of the walnuts out, we put them in the blender with a little bit of water, and we just pulsed it real quick. And so that gave us our little mixed chickpeas right here. We're just gonna add these directly to it back there.
So when you do half blended and half not, you're gonna get both.
You're gonna get both textures, exactly. So when you do half blended, that's the half that is blended is gonna give you that sort of kind of meaty texture. You know, if you ever had like taco meat, you know, it's not all individual pieces of meat. You got the little kind of fillers in there.
Yeah,
so
there's some chunky parts.
There's some chunky parts, there's some smooth
bits.
parts, and some hard parts. So we got all those in there. So now the great thing about all of these is that they're all quick and easy to make. We added the same spice blend to all of them. Now we're just gonna stir them. Now I'm gonna give you the insider secret here. You may or may not want to do this. If you do it incorrectly, your fire alarm is gonna go off.
Oh, okay. Listen close.
So listen close. But anytime you're cooking stuff like tacos or meats, you know, the thing that really gives it the flavor are gonna be kind of the drippings from the bottom of the pan. Right, so we want to kind of let it cook a little bit. We don't want to burn it, but we want to let the spices and the seasonings cook a little bit. You can sort of see here in the skillet, they're kind of stuck to the bottom there, right? So we just kind of want them to stick a little bit, not burn though. We don't want it to burn. Can I grab another one of those?
Yep, you sure
I did what we call cross-contamination there. We didn't want to do that. So you don't want it to burn, but you do want it to stick a little bit, because that's going to give it a little bit of flavor.
That is done in a lot of different cuisines, right?
Definitely.
Toasting those spices.
Yes.
And like such a simple step to add that can really boost the flavor.
Yep.
About building that flavor on top of each other.
Definitely. And so the chickpeas back there, we're really just kind of boiling those so that we can just kind of leave them there and forget about it. So now that we have these going, you kind of see that they're toasting pretty good. We're just going to add some more water.
All right. Do we need more than this?
We need a little bit more.
Okay.
So to the lentils, we're going to add water. To the walnuts, we're going to add the walnut water we saved. So we're just going to add a little bit at a time. We'll kind of pop up on you there. And we're just going to do what we call deglazing the pan, which is really just scraping all of that good stuff off the bottom of the pan. That's where all the flavor is. All right. Same thing with the lentils. How we looking on time, sous chef? What we looking like? We're good on time?
We're good. We're about halfway through.
So, you know, we're just going to kind of continue to repeat that process with the lentils and the walnuts. The chickpeas are back there kind of boiling away. But the lentils and the walnuts, we're going to kind of braise them. And braising is basically, we're going to let the water evaporate out, and we're going to add a little bit. We're going to let it evaporate and add it. And that just kind of intensifies the flavor of both of them.
I love that. Yeah. I love that description of braising.
Braising.
I never thought about it like that. I think about like putting it in a pan that goes in your oven, and then you just leave it and let it go.
Do that too.
I love that.
Yep,
That's
you can do
great.
that too.
Cool.
Yeah, and these are really, these are really good. We've done these for kids; they love them. You don't have to tell them what it is. Just put it inside the taco.
Yes.
Make sure they're not allergic to anything first.
Valid.
But then just put it inside the taco. Put the tacos on it, and they will love it. So we're gonna add a little bit more water to the lentils here.
Lentils are one of my favorite sort of ground meat substitutes because they have a super similar texture, and they don't necessarily have to be like soaked like your other dried beans. Like absolutely have to be soaked, and that takes a lot of extra like planning time.
It does.
So if you miss that opportunity to soak, you're good.
You're good. You can go right to it.
Do the lentils.
Just throw them right in the pan with a little water. You can even kind of toast them in the pan. It would be perfectly fine. All of these, the thing I love about all, they're all full of protein.
Yes.
So you're not missing any protein. You're gonna be full after you eat it. The chickpeas are full of protein, the walnuts and the lentils, and you're using really some different cuisines, and they're incredibly inexpensive. The walnuts might be a little pricey, but even if you aren't getting your food from somewhere, lentils are super cheap. Chickpeas are super cheap. And the walnuts, they go a long way as well.
And you can almost always find the lentils and the chickpeas in a pantry.
Yep.
And we are getting those walnuts really soon. So they are going to be showing up in some of our partner food pantries. So if you're a neighbor and you are visiting some of our partners, you may see walnuts in the near future. So this might be a good opportunity to try them out in a different way, besides just like snacking or throwing on a salad.
And I'm just continuing to add a little bit of that spice mix as I go through. I'm eyeballing it. You can taste it. I'm just kind of eyeballing it as I go through. I'm just going to add a little bit more until it gets kind of the color and the consistency that I like.
Yeah. Is there a shortcut method for soaking? Like if you missed it, but you only have walnuts as your protein option here, is there a shortcut?
Yeah. So one of the shortcuts for like soaking would be to go through the same process that we did, and then just really put them in like some boiling hot water.
All right.
Really quickly. I would probably, so if you didn't get a chance to soak them, I would take them from a dry state. If you have a food processor, pulse them. If you don't, you can just kind of pulse them in the blender, and then super duper high heat, just let them boil, just let them cook.
Okay, so just cook a little bit longer.
Just cook a little bit longer.
Okay.
And now the lentils will be soft. The chickpeas will be soft. The walnuts are not going to be soft, so don't think that they're going to be like, like it's not going to taste like meat. So I think that's the first thing we have to kind of dispel.
Yes.
Not every plant-based meat substitute is going to taste exactly like meat, but it is going to have a similar texture. It's definitely going to have the same taste, but it may not taste just like meat. So open your mind a little bit, open your palate, and be open to trying some new things.
Honestly, I tasted the walnuts. We've got a final one here, TV Magic, to show you in just a minute. But I was really surprised at the texture because it really is so similar to the texture of ground
beef. Yes.
And if you really want to try it, but you're like, I don't want to waste a whole dish on just walnuts, combine it. Combine a couple of them. You're going to get a bunch of textures in there. If you're like me, I really like textures.
Yep. So we're about halfway through with this cooking process. I'm just going to kind of let y'all take a look at it real quick here. So this is how we look at about halfway through. So these are the lentils.
They dried up
They're
some.
dried up pretty good. They're working. All right. This is the walnut mixture.
I mean, that looks like ground beef.
That looks like ground beef, right? It does.
Straight up looks like ground beef.
Walnuts close up there. And then the chickpeas back here, they're still kind of bubbling, boiling away. Get those in. So they're still boiling away. And what we did when we pureed half of the chickpeas, again, they're going to just continue to break down in that skillet and get real soft, and then it's going to kind of pull together really, really nicely.
I'm so excited.
A little bit more. This walnut mixer, we're done with all the walnut milk there. Sous chef extraordinaire. Can I get a little bit more water and we'll come.
Yeah, we got you some water here.
I haven't always been. I've been plant-based myself for around 20, 25 years.
Wow.
I've been cooking for about the same amount of time. just decided I wanted to try something different. I'm always open to different textures and food. And so I had a friend who was considering being vegan. He'd bring home different foods and different things. And I was like, oh, this tastes pretty good. Oh, this tastes pretty good. So I just kind of took to it, and I started seeing some of the benefits, and I just stuck with it. But whether you want to be plant-based or not, you can never lose with adding more vegetables and fruits and grains and beans and legumes and things like that to your diet. And for most of us here in America, we are deficient in vegetables in terms of our consumption.
Yes.
And ironically, I wouldn't say ironically, but it also has nothing to do with income. Right? So it's not as if, you know, the lower amount of money you make, the less you eat, you know, it's actually somewhat the reverse in some instances. You know, the more access, the more money you have, you know, the more steak and potatoes.
Yeah, some of those
more expensive things, you know, high in cholesterol, shrimp, shellfish. Mm-hmm. So another interesting thing to note about this particular dish versus traditional tacos, anything plant-based that is 100% plant-based, it has zero cholesterol. Zero. So if you want to find a way to just kind of remove that cholesterol out of your diet, plant-based foods are a great way to do that as well.
Yeah. And you're going to get fiber, and all of the micronutrients and vitamins and minerals that come from your plant proteins that's missing from your animal proteins.
Definitely.
So you got those animal proteins are going to come with their animal fats, which aren't all terrible, all in moderation, right? But you're going to be getting a lot more fiber that's completely missing from your animal sources here. Definitely. And then with the walnuts, you're going to get your fantastic omega-3 fats, and those you got to have those. And if you are plant-based, there are a lot of options for getting omega-3s.
Yes, because they're not necessarily inherent.
Exactly. And those omega-3s are an anti-inflammatory fat. So they're going to support your body health in more ways than one.
Yep, gotta have those anti-inflammatories. So we're looking real good here. Another look at the lentils. I like the lentils really good because they really cook up pretty well. So you can sort of see now we're even closer to the process.
And they start to like break up too. You'll have whole pieces and then small pieces. And
if they don't break up, you just kind of mash them because they're pretty soft. So you just kind of mash them, they'll be good to go. So I'll mash some lentils. You know, one of the things we do with Urban Oak is we try to introduce foods to people who may not normally eat plant-based foods. Yeah. And so using things like tacos has been a good way that we do it. We also make what we kind of call culturally relevant foods. So we'll do barbecue tofus and collard greens and things like that. And I think that's one way that we can get more people to eating, you know, more healthier foods is, you know, making it relevant to some of the things they like.
Make it taste like home.
Make it taste like home, 100%.
Exactly. 100%. Exactly. That's some really good work.
A little bit more water, I think, would be good.
All right, gotcha. There's a little bit. Is that enough?
No, it's not. Quite a bit more. And these are looking really good here. So now that we're kind of done with the cooking process, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt. Just sprinkle it, just a little bit. Just sprinkle a little bit in each one. And the other thing about tacos is that, but since they have all of that cumin and chili powder, and you're going to be putting toppings on and maybe sauces, you don't really need a lot of salt in the meat because you're not really looking for the salt. You're going to taste the cumin and the chili powder.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, I say that all the time. Like, where is the salt coming from in the whole dish? Not just each individual component.
Exactly.
You're going to eat them together. Not everyone eats them together, so that's something to consider. But each component is going to give you some salt or maybe some fat or, you know, some moisture you might need. So that's a really great way to think about it.
Let's put them all together. Right.
Yeah.
How we looking here? How we looking?
They're looking good. They're looking good.
Okay. You want to jump on the slaw real quick?
Yeah. We've got some toppings to show you.
So, you know, the regular toppings for tacos, lettuce, tomatoes, those are always super duper great. But another very inexpensive vegetable, cabbage. Amazingly inexpensive, as well as carrots. So we're going to do a really simple little slaw here to go on top of the tacos, and you can eat it on the side. I'll eat it as a salad sometimes. So this cabbage here, this is roughly around 3 cups. I'm going to add in a little bit of apple cider vinegar. To your point, Kristen, just a little bit. You can always add, but not take away. And you can use any kind of vinegar. You could use white vinegar, you can use distilled vinegar, All vinegar is going to give you a little slightly different taste.
Mm-hmm.
Put in the carrots. Going to put in a little bit of honey. It's about a tablespoonful of honey. You could use other sweeteners, agave, a pinch of salt. Now, we're going to put in just a little bit of taco seasoning.
Yes.
You got to put that in there. It can go everywhere. We're just going to mix it.
I love that.
Just kind of toss that in there. I'm telling you, that taco seasoning mixes, once you get it, and you can tweak it to your own liking, right? If you want more cumin, you can put more cumin. If you want more taco seasoning, you could do more of that. If you want more chili powder, then you can make it your own. And like I said, you can put it on all sorts of things.
And you can make it spicy.
You can make it spicy. You can add some, as you said, some cayenne or
pepper flakes or whatever suits your fancy.
Whatever it is you want. So we're gonna.
I love this because cabbage is going to give you so much more than just like some shredded lettuce will do.
Yes, that cruciferous vegetable. I mean, there's so many good things in cabbage. And this is a great way. The slaws are great ways. And then if you have children, slaws are really good ways to get them to try different vegetables too, because it has that kind of crunchy texture. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
A little more. Just a little bit more to. And the other thing about slaws is once they sit overnight, they're even better the next day. So we're about done here.
Yes. Okay. Great.
We'll show you. I'll just kind of show you how they look when they're in the pan, and then we'll show you the final finished versions over there. So this is the lentil mixture. That looks good. This is the walnut mixture that's still going to cook down. Now the walnuts, you want to cook those down a good amount of time. Give them a taste. So that's the walnut mixture.
Just like ground beef.
Definitely. You can fool some people. And then this is the chickpea mixture. That's good also. So we're going to kind of let those hang out on here in the TV background. And then the final versions. You want to show those?
Yeah, we can bring them on camera now.
Get my station cleaned up here. I'm a messy chef sometimes. We're kind of clean everything up here. Chef makes a mess.
There we go. All right. Should I go ahead and grab the toppings at the same
do that.
time?
Let's get some tacos
Okay,
going. It's time to eat. This is where you ring the dinner bell. So these are the finished lentils. Those look amazing. Put a couple spoons out of here. Cool. There we go. So these are the lentils. Doesn't that look just like ground beef?
Sure does. Sure does.
These are the chickpeas. Those look fabulous.
So you can see like how dry they are. That is the end goal. Like they're trying to cook out all that liquid. Not like completely dry.
And these are the walnuts.
I think I like that one the best.
Well, you can try that one.
Okay. I'll make the walnut
you
taco.
You can do your walnut taco.
So we're gonna make some tacos here. We've got options. We've got corn tortillas, flour tortillas, some
tomatoes,
tomatoes,
cilantro. We have some good stuff. I'm actually really hungry, so I'm gonna go.
There you go. Whatever suits your fancy.
I'm gonna mix mine. I'm gonna do some chickpeas.
I like that.
I'm gonna do maybe chickpeas and a little bit of lentils here. The legumes.
I got these little tiny tacos.
Yeah, that's good. Those street tacos.
Yeah.
Street tacos. I'm just gonna put a little slaw right on mine.
That's what I'm definitely gonna do.
A little slaw on there. You want some on yours?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
There we go.
Some cilantro.
Cilantro. Yep.
I am team cilantro.
Yep.
You want some?
Cilantro is amazing.
There you go.
Such a great.
I feel sad for the folks who can't eat it.
Definitely. It is amazing. Get some of those tomatoes.
Okay, yes, got some tomatoes. You can also just use salsa. If you have a jarred salsa, that works.
The other thing about all of these mixtures, before we dig in, you can put any other vegetable you want in there.
Yes.
If you wanted to add some carrots, you can put that in there. If you wanted bell peppers, if you wanted tomatoes in there, you could add that in there. You can sneak them in there. People won't know that they're in
There you
there.
go.
So that's a good way to do it as well. So let's see what we got. You ready?
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Mm-hmm. You gotta try this.
It's really good.
Mhm.
And I'm hungry too. That is amazing.
Mhm.
And all the so you have the beans and the legumes and the nuts that are kind of soft. And then the slaw is really crunchy.
This
Fresh
adds
and
a
good. Add
texture
the
back.
to it.
Yep.
Really good.
That's fantastic, Chef. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise on plant proteins. I'm hoping that our community members will see this and think, I'm going to try something different today.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So if you see walnuts in a pantry or the grocery store and they're working in your budget, grab them and try something a little bit different for your taco night. Or just mix them into your ground beef.
Definitely.
Like, start there.
Definitely.
Start there. Start
where
with
you
baby
are.
steps.
You can actually, help you stretch your ground beef. So if you are kind of, want to kind of count some pennies, you can use half ground beef, half lentils, half chickpeas, half walnuts. So
You're speaking my language.
You're
I
stretching
don't know how
it
many
up.
times I've said stretch meal in this
Stretch
kitchen.
meal. Definitely.
Yes, it adds all that nutrition that you would be missing if you were just eating meat. So yeah, took the words right out of my mouth.
Awesome. I'm gonna put a taco back in there. How about this?
Yes. Okay, friends. So you can follow Chef Kevin's work at the Urban Oak Initiative on Instagram at Urban Oak Food. You can see all the great things that he's doing over there with teaching the community about plant-based foods. And then you can find Chef's recipes from today and all of our other nutrition and cooking resources from the Learning Kitchen at this link on the bottom of the screen. I'm also going to drop it in the chat box so you can click it and it'll take you straight over there. You can find all the past episodes we've done, all of their recipes, all the content. Yeah, you'll find it all there. Yep. Anything else you want to share? I'm
gonna make another taco.
Yes, do it.
But no, I just want to thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
The food bank here, and the only thing I would add is, don't be afraid to try. No, give it a try. See if you like it. Just try it. Just try it. You might like it.
Exactly. Just give it a try.
Give it a try.
All right, friends.
Awesome.
We'll be back in 2 weeks on the second Tuesday of next month for our next episode. Awesome. And thank you so much, Chef Kev.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's so fun to cook alongside you in the kitchen. And we'll see you next time.